Country living can be lonely.
Best friend anybody could ask for.
But an English pit bull named Boz brought a sense of warmth to Jay Dallahan's rural refuge.
He was just the smartest dog ever. I mean, gentle. Children would get on him and ride him. I mean, he never, ever was aggressive.
Jay and Boz played together, ate together, even slept together. That was until Monday. While best friends sat inside watching TV, a rookie deputy with the Stark County Sheriff's Department drove up Jay's gravel driveway to deliver child custody papers.
All of a sudden, I hear a loud hey, and my dog bolted out the door.
Once on the porch, Boz sprinted toward the deputy, who pulled out his handgun, hopped onto the hood of a car, and fired 2 shots at the pit bull, who let out a brief moan before collapsing in the front yard.
All he kept saying after he killed him was, "Dispatch, I need somebody out here. Vicious pit bull just tried to attack me," you know, and spun it around and made it look like the dog was horrible, and he wasn't. He was a good dog.
A dog, Jay says, whose curiosity, not cruelty, cost him his life.
It's sad, but scary that, you know, because they just come on your property, whether you got to beware of dog sign or not, and be justified for killing your animal just because of the way he looked and the way he ran out to want to sniff you. Just a simple honk of the horn would have saved him.
As snow falls outside Covenant Christian, powder of another sort is sucked up inside.
Glass and blood and everything all over the place.
A place 115 kids call school. One Austin Weinhoft destroyed.
Looks like this is the pipe here that he used to break the window.
That window led to smashed computers, broken tables, and the mess from fire extinguishers.
It's just really heartbreaking to see all that time and effort put in, and then all of a sudden we got to do a lot of it all over again.
But things started here Sunday night after a shirtless Weinhoft escaped from a local hospital and came to Mishawaka's Winding Brook neighborhood. He quickly started knocking on people's doors, asking to be taken inside. A flood of 911 calls hit St. Joe County, including a call from this house.
911 is the address for your emergency.
There's a man running outside my house with no shirt on, tapping on my windows.
So there's a man outside with no shirt on?
Yeah.
Does he appear to be, like, intoxicated, or?
It's very difficult to tell. It looked like he was running from someone.
911 address emergency.
I live in Winding Brook in Mishawaka, and my husband was out in the driveway near the garage, and there was a guy running without a shirt on, and he said somebody was trying to kill him. Just strange.
A strange night that's hard to sweep under the rug, with 1 week until Christmas break ends.
You'll never know what he was thinking at the time of doing that, but all we can do is pray that he's going to get the help that he needs, you know, in the near future.
Some hotels brag about leaving the light on. But at the Best Western in Elkhart, management prefers keeping the bright lights off.
Using that inspection light, black light, you can see it.
What you're seeing is biological matter, invisible to the plain eye, if not for this ultraviolet black light. Every day, housekeepers use the flashlight to detect, and this high-tech wand to disinfect hundreds of thousands of germs.
Now easily we find the food and the spot anywhere is dirty, sometimes the coffee cup stain, you clean it, but it's not a go away. But with the black light, you see easily.
It's a tedious process, from the continental breakfast dining area to the computer in the business center and that notoriously sweaty fitness room, all of which are now under a daily wand warning. In all 58 rooms, the focus turns to high touch points.
Telephones, remote controls, alarm clocks, door handles, and bathroom fixture.
The hotel still uses sanitary wipes, but can now literally see their imperfections.
See, that's what I was talking about. Now you can see it with the black light. And when you turn off the lights, you couldn't see it.
A 21st century way of cleaning, in hopes you'll sleep a bit more comfortable at night.
Everybody know their job, and we're not getting any complaint about cleaning anymore. That's why I'm so happy about it.
For most folks, flowers help cut out life's stress.
Yes.
A sensation florist Stephanie Pickens hasn't smelled
But I got this nice hot pink.
since February 1st.
I mean, there's like 12 of us here today, and you know what? We're bumping each other, but you know, we have a smile and we're having a good time doing it.
After all, Valentine's Day is Pickens' busiest,
Red is love, yellow is friendship, pink is for perfect happiness.
with customers ordering 4,000 roses alone. Across town, Cupid is also serving up an entree of big business at South Bend's newest restaurant, Cafe Navarre.
Pretty much since the calendar turned over, 1st of February, the phone started ringing.
And it hasn't stopped since.
How many people in your group?
The earliest reservation now available is 9 at night. However, the food is still promised to be a delight.
Milk chocolate, you said?
Of course, romantics love chocolate too.
Yes, I would definitely say that.
For proof, just visit the South Bend Chocolate Cafe, where employees have made more than 300 pounds of chocolate-covered strawberries for Tuesday's big rush.
Come from our regulars to people that'll drive, you know, miles to come here to get just that special gift for their special someone.
Because chocolate not only melts a girl's heart, it fills her stomach too.
I'm glad there's chocolate in the world, exactly.
Stephen Hensch's faith shows on the outside.
I would describe myself as a follower of Jesus.
And from within.
I've been born and raised in the church.
For the last 15 years, he's made Christian art at home.
Well, these are oil paintings that
while teaching a secular form at school.
I was very uncomfortable.
11-year-old Caitlin Merkline goes to Mary Feeser Elementary. She was Mr. Hensch's last student.
And then he started talking about making love, and Valentine's Day is all about that.
It was a crash course in anatomy during a class meant for art. Had you ever heard about making love before?
No.
I was infuriated. I was absolutely infuriated.
Anna Merkline is Caitlin's mom.
Everything is age appropriate, and I've taken great pride in having that. And then to have her go to school and have it shattered by an art teacher, it really, really floors me.
I just said, like something going into something. You know, and I may have used my hand with my finger just to show, you know, 'cause it's something going into something.
For now, his teaching life sits in a box on the living room floor with a renewed hope, he says, coming from above.
It just brings you closer to Jesus, because that's what happened with him. He got accused wrongly and you know, was treated horribly and mocked.
I don't understand his mindset. I don't understand what he felt he was doing. It did no good to teach an 11-year-old kid these words. It did no good to offer to show them pictures. It did absolutely no good.
For 50 yards, he fought to save it. I think I was in total shock. You see stunts in the movies, they have protection. This was reality.
The vision is hard to erase.
It's not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight. I didn't know what to do.
For Bob Grennert and his son, Bobby.
I don't know, it scared me. It's an eye-opener.
It was Saturday as father and son took part in the Dad's Day poker run with their cousin, Harold Dawson. Dawson wasn't a biker, but rode to honor his 44-year-old son, who died suddenly last August from a brain aneurysm. The ride was hot, so the group took a detour through Plymouth, where things went south.
At that point, he started skidding, hit the embankment up on 31, coming on to 31, and had flipped terribly over the road.
Lying motionless beside the bike his son used to ride, Dawson's 60-year life was down to seconds.
Yeah, I watched him take his last breath.
You know, at that moment, this man, out of nowhere, in a red car pulls up. His timing was just more than faith itself.
Officially the man, a paramedic in training, gave Dawson CPR.
He wouldn't be here if that guy didn't stop on the side of the road.
But ask this family, and they'll tell you he saved his life.
And I'm just forever grateful that there are people that have the humanitarian in them to stop and assist people like that. And I wish the world were full of more of them.
At Harrison Christian School, teachers enlighten children about a God with unconditional love.
It's out of Matthew 18.
Teachers like Cherie Martin,
and Jesus called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them,
who for the very first time had to explain to her fourth graders why such a loving God would take one of their own.
It was very hard. I just literally bawled last night on my way home. And definitely my night was hard. Yeah, he's gonna leave a big hole.
You see, for the last 7 months, 9-year-old Kevin Burkholder sat at this desk.
He always had a bright smile for me in the morning.
School came easy to Kevin, a boy who loved reading Ranger Rick magazines when his work was complete. He was curious and loved animals. His latest project involved making a fabric duck. But loved ones say God had other plans for Kevin, who suffocated late Sunday while digging tunnels through a 10-foot-tall stack of cornmeal on his family's 175-acre farm. Which takes us back to Monday morning.
I just kept thinking over, God, how can I do this?
And that dreaded lecture on loss.
Just help me through this and be with my students and I.
For as Miss Martin said best, Kevin Burkholder filled his classroom with joy, a loss these students certainly feel, one even you at home can unfortunately see.
I can tell it's affecting the whole school, but I think it will stick with these children for a long time.
Monday marked day 2 of the battle on Broad Street. On offense, St. Joseph's Fire Department, its union, now looking to knock a new employment contract out of City Hall's hands.
Well, we were spending too much money. We were spending nearly $4 million on the police and fire departments, and we were only bringing in $5 million in property tax. Almost 80 cents on every dollar was going towards police and fire.
In effort to cut costs but save jobs, Walsh says the city built a new 3-year contract. The deal, which included raises and lifelong employment guarantees, was ratified by the union in late March, an achievement Walsh kept record of in his daily planner. But for reasons unknown, Local 1670 has since backed out of the plan.
This is similar to perhaps buying a new car. On March 28th, they went out, they purchased a new car, paid for it, everyone was in agreement, the dealership's happy, they're happy. And then they come back 90 days later and say, hey, wait a second, we want to return this car, we want a full refund. And the reason is because we don't like the color of the car.
And so, the mood remains red hot on Broad Street as the fire union threatens legal action against a city which says the negotiating door remains wide open.
I'm hoping that something will happen that stops well short of a circuit court battle. We don't need that, and our taxpayers don't need to be paying for that. But we'll do what we have to do to protect them.
Words are hard to come by.
It was just really hard.
When a parent loses one of its own.
We have one good one.
Jeff Buscar.
Absolutely.
And his wife Tanisha have feared such a what if since their daughter Macy was born. It was May 6th when flight teams airlifted Macy's 6-pound, 1-ounce body to Riley Hospital. There, days turned to months, but in December, Macy made her first trip home.
This came from a Colts football player.
This is the crib she slept in for 18 days. She never made it to 19.
She wasn't moving. We couldn't get a response of her. I couldn't get her to look at me.
Paramedics quickly transported Macy's lifeless body to Memorial Hospital.
They just couldn't get her heart to beat by itself, and they couldn't find a pulse. They pronounced her dead at 10:08.
Time since stood still in the living room Macy grew accustomed to. Her nursery, a collection of tangible keepsakes, like this locket of hair and molds of her hands, taken moments after she passed.
Sit up, Sissy.
Down the hall and in the dining room, family members prepared a collage for a viewing. This family prayed it would never see.
I'm just so sorry, Jeff.
All right.
A video reminded loved ones of the better days. Macy's tiny casket, however, served the stark reality of today.
If I could have traded places, I would have.
I mean that with all my heart.
By all accounts, Macy Buscar lived a short life. But loved ones say she went with dignity, without ever saying a single word. The mood in the often romanticized friendly skies dropped like a lead balloon on this Allegiant Airlines flight arriving from St. Pete, Florida.
I just heard about it when I was standing in line from somebody behind me, and I'm not happy about it at all because I always carry 2 pieces of luggage, as I think most women do.
Meaning next time, Schroepfer will have to pay $26 per carry-on bag out of South Bend, so long as she books online. But let's say she wings it and her bag doesn't fit below the seat. She'll then have to pay $35.
They charge you to board in the beginning. They charge you for, every piece of your baggage. They charge you for water, everything. I can't imagine anything else that they charge for, but I'm sure they're going to think of something.
Despite all the hidden fees, News Center 16 found Allegiant to still be the cheapest local airline to Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Florida, while Delta and United were each charging more than $500 round trip in early July. Allegiant cost just $372. And yes, that is including a $26 carry-on bag.
If I can save $50 and be a little less, comfortable on the flight, that's worth it for me, because no matter what, you're going to be uncomfortable when you're flying and traveling,
Actually, all the add-ons cost more than the actual flight does with Allegiant. But here I am, flying Allegiant, and I probably will I'll be here next month as well.
Long considered one of South Bend's strongest working-class neighborhoods.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
Phil Niswanger isn't foreclosing on a promise to keep River Park safe.
All it takes for a crime an evil to flourish is for good people to do nothing. And so it's an obligation that we have for ourselves and our neighbors to make the situation better, whatever it might be.
For now, the association says its plight is twofold. At the forefront, a spike in vacant home and rental properties, up from just 14 to 54% in the last 21 years. With rentals, it says, comes an increase in drug homes, like this duplex, which police shut down last year. New tenants moved in. There hasn't been an issue since.
But in the last 12 weeks, crime has gone up over 400%, and especially in the area of assaults.
Plotting problems on a map, each blue dot represents a blow to public safety.
I mean, they might be a TV set stolen, or they might have had a broken nose, but the infringement to their personal freedom, the damage mentally lasts much longer than that, maybe for a lifetime.
But there are signs of stability, as River Park remains home to the Potawatomi Zoo, IU South Bend campus, and a scenic stretch of the St. Joe River.
We need to have all citizens rise up and say, hey, enough is enough. The west side somewhat waited too long. They finally got their attention, but by that time, much of the damage has been done. We need to wake up to stop crime and recover River Park the way it used to be.
Counts police often send cars to the A&H towing lot.
Yeah, I was totally floored, baffled.
But on Wednesday, officers had to pick up one of their own.
I know the phone's been ringing off the hook.
It was the department's newest unit, a 2010 Chevy Impala, full of mud, flat of air, and completely waterlocked.
It's a piece of town equipment. All our officers take good care of our cars, cleaning them, everything like that. They give them us to use, so it's a little blow.
If this is the end, this was the start as William Blankenship III drove along Main Street Tuesday night. That's when an officer clocked him going 53 in a 35. He pulled the 22-year-old over in the parking lot at the Family Express gas station. But as he walked up to Blankenship's car, the officer noticed drugs inside. Blankenship was cuffed, his car searched, and then he was gone, headed down State Road 8 in the dark of night.
Our main concern was, one, locating the vehicle, and two, accounting for all the weapons that were in the vehicle at the time it was taken.
It was taken and crashed here. Dive teams assisted by the car's GPS device and its antenna poking out of the water. Blankenship then ran to a nearby barn where he used bolt cutters to remove his handcuffs. Police have canvassed Knox streets, including his last known address, but have come up empty-handed.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, they're not going to get away. I mean, we know who the subject is, everything like that, so it's just a matter of time we'll get him, and he'll have to answer for his consequences.
By January 1st of next year, the FCC is requiring every emergency department nationwide to alter its radio bandwidth. In essence, every wireless device will have its power cut in half.
This tanker got a new radio.
The Bristol Fire Department begrudgingly made that switch in March, shelling out 12 grand in upgrades it says don't even work.
It was more muffled. You had to definitely speak slower so you'd be more understandable.
Problems escalated at this early July house fire along Pheasant Ridge Drive. Bristol firefighters say their signal was so weak, the chief had to pull out her own cell phone to request more water tankers be sent to the scene.
The stressors involved with knowing that I don't know if I'm going to have communications with my dispatch center, my lifeline, if I go out on a call.
And that's scary.
And that's scary, you're right.
The movement, called Narrowbanding, is positioned to free up more bandwidth in this ever-increasing technological world.
I think the move that FCC made had to happen. We had to have more channels out there. More and more people are using radios and are using pagers and wireless technology. So you have to make available more frequencies so that it's not as congested.
Money's tight, you know, the economy's down, budgets are being cut. We operate on a shoestring budget the way it is, and we have to watch every penny we put out.